I'm in the amazing Lake District National Park and there's going to be some stunning conditions, and I've got with me a Nikon Z5, which is Nikon's latest camera, and I'm really excited about what I can capture. Morning everybody, fantastic to see you all again. So first of all, forget the camera, my hat, I've got a new hat. So I'm just recording this part of it after I did one of the shoots with the Z5 and I lost my hat. But luckily Jim, thanks Jim, got me a spare couple of hats and sent them over to me. So I had this spare with me and we can continue. It's a different design, but we'll sort of gloss over that a little bit. So this video is sponsored by Nikon. They sent me the Nikon Z5 and asked if I could do a video about it. Well, not really about it. If you want to see a really good review, then probably best go into DP review or something like that. But just about me going into the field and taking some photos with it. They've not asked me to talk about any particular things. I'm just going to, just use it and see what I can get. Now, it's very similar in specs to the Z6. It's 24 megapixels, it's full frame, and there's a few changes which I'll talk about as we go through. But I'm going to be taking all sorts of different conditions. I'm going to be taking some waterfalls. I'm going to try and get some big vista shots. And the really exciting thing is that I've got this 24 to 50 kit lens that comes with it, and I'm really excited because it's super light of trying this out and seeing what I can get out of it. So I may have just arrived just a little bit too late. I snapped a couple of photos and I'm going to try and get some more now, but just handheld. And I can test out the IBIS in the Z5, which will be interesting because it's still fairly dark. The sun has just risen, so it's just starting to get light. So I'm going to just shoot this hut here. It looks fantastic. The conditions are really nice. I've not shot here before in the summertime when we've got nice conditions, so it'll be interesting to see what I can get. So this 24 to 50 is quite a nice little lens. It's so light. And I'm shooting at 50mm at a fifth of a second. Right, I think what I need to do is go down here. Okay, in this direction, we've still got some cloud in the mountains there. So I'm going to try and frame a shot with these trees here. Again, I'm just going to shoot handheld for these. I'll get my tripod out in a minute and take some others. But I'm just interested to see what the handheld shots are like when I'm shooting at the sort of limit of the IBIS. So I should be shooting a 50th of a second if I've got a 50mm focal length, one over the focal length. But it's 5-stop IBIS, so that takes it down to a 25th, then a 12th, then a 6th, then a 3rd. So I should be able to shoot at a 1/3 of a second handheld. And you may ask why, if you're moving maybe for an SLR or you've not had IBIS before, you might think, well, why do I need IBIS in a camera? And I think one of the most important things for me is having that flexibility when you're trying to compose something. So, you don't want to always have to just get your tripod out, set it up, because the conditions might have changed. They might, like here, it might have been very dynamic conditions. So being able to handhold it and be confident that you can get a sharp shot makes such a big difference. Now, of course, I'd always say if you can, put it on a tripod, but sometimes you just don't have time to do that. So that IBIS is really important for that flexibility. And that's what I find with a camera. It's not so much about the technical specs and the megapixels. It's more about how usable it is. How does it feel in your hand, and how usable is it as a tool to be able to produce that photograph. Oh, I've got lucky. So the mist has come back and we've got some really nice sort of light behind as well. I've got to be a little bit careful not to burn out the highlights. You can probably just see behind me. So I've still got the 24 to 50mm lens on. I've now got it on my tripod, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just make sure I get the balance right between the water and the where the hut is, and then the mist in the top. And it's almost, I'll probably crop it a little bit at the top and bottom to make it a letterbox type shot. It looks fantastic. Oh, that light is so amazing now. I almost want to get a wide angle shot here. I'm going to do that. There we go. And this is what I was saying about just being able to hand hold it, because I don't need to put it on a tripod now, it's light enough. So I'm going to do a quick pano. And then I think I'm going to see if I can just get something over there. Whoa, this is so amazing. So if I just shoot through here, I can almost just get the tree. I just need to go a bit further around this way. Okay, so I'm going to try and go down here. It's all happening. And see if I can just get a bit of a balance here without falling in the lake. Oh, that's so nice. Don't fall in. It's beautiful. Even the water sort of dropping and creating these droplets, and the light's just coming through there. Oh, I need to be in the water though. It's so slippy. Right, come on, get this. I'm just going to get wet feet. Oh, that's really nice. The light through there is just spectacular.
Say something like you love me and make my day, like you always do, like you always do.
So I've just been shooting by the river here, and I found a nice little scene with the ferns at the bottom and this tree in the background, which looks really, really good. The reason I wanted to say something about this scene is what's amazed me is that I've just been hand holding some of these waterfall shots just to get the composition right before I put it on the tripod. And actually when I look at them at like a quarter of a second where the water's perfect, they're really sharp, which is just incredible. I'd never thought about doing that before. Obviously it's the same IBIS as it is in the Z6 and Z7, but I probably handhold more stuff. But remember, always put it on a tripod, and when you do put it on a tripod, get an L bracket for your camera. So at the moment I've not got an L bracket for this, so this isn't ideal like this because it can turn on the hinge. So get an L bracket. I think it'd be interesting to shoot a shot from where the video is now with the Z5 and how the dynamic range is, how it can bring out the shadows. So I think I'll go back there, set up a camera, put it on a timer and shoot maybe a few different shots at different exposures and see what we can bring out of the shadows. Right, back that way.
Now, want you now, and I want you now, and I want you now.
I think this is the hottest I've ever been in the Lake District, which is usually really cold, but I'm going up the other side of Ullswater, and there's a crag here that overlooks some of the bigger mountains in the distance, Katsicam being one of them, so hopefully I'm going to get a little bit of light. It's not looking really promising, probably more like lightning, and I'll get a good shot. So it's about an hour's walk to the top. I should get there about 7 o'clock, something like that. Ooh, I feel like I'm in a jungle. Literally heat, swamped by ferns. Just gonna get over the stream, we'll be good. I've crossed it twice already. That's why my camera's down there. Should be fine, it's the easy one. Right, so I made it halfway. In the opposite direction. What I want to do is shoot in that direction, but I've got to keep going up. And I'll tell you what, I can definitely notice the difference with that little lens on the Z5, the 24-50. It's definitely lighter. Although I have got my drone in as well, so that probably doesn't help. Onward.
How you move and what you do has made me so crazy.
That was definitely the most humid walk I've ever done in England. I felt like I was in the jungle. I'm at the top now, and you can see I've got 360 views, and it is so spectacular. It's well worth it. Coming up I was thinking, no, I don't know whether it's worth it, but now I'm on the top, this is so worth it. And you can see that I'm going to be shooting over in that direction, and probably what I'll do, probably walk onto that ridge there and see if I can get a shot through there. It looks really good in that direction now, so over here. But yeah, this just looks fantastic. So fantastic. It's just so still. It's such a beautiful evening. I've got a bit of time now because I'm waiting for the light to get a little bit better. It's quite diffuse, the light, because obviously it's so humid that the light's quite diffuse. So I think I'll probably go and find some foreground, and we'll see what we can do with some foreground. I've taken a few long shots over there. I've got the 7200, my really old F-Fit 7200 lens on the FTZ adapter, which works brilliantly. So it's just a question of waiting a little bit now. I've got to be a little bit careful because I think there's going to be some thunder and lightning. I heard one clap of thunder, so if that happens I'm going to get down quickly because I don't really want to be on top of the mountain. And yeah, one thing that I get asked all the time is megapixels, and people saying I really want to upgrade from, you know, my camera that's 24 megapixels to a 45 megapixel camera. And I think you've got to really think hard about why you want to do that. I think to do that, you need to be printing big pictures all the time, and then thinking when you print those big pictures, oh, I'm just not happy, it could do with being a little bit better. If you're not thinking that, you're not going to really benefit from a more megapixel camera, and then something like the Z5 or the Z6 would be completely fine for you. So yeah, don't worry about megapixels, you know, worry about how the camera handles, how it feels in your hand, whether it's weather sealed. You know, in-body stabilization is really useful because it allows you to take photos and get photos that you might not otherwise been able to do. But 45 megapixels doesn't allow you to get any other photos. It just means that if you want to print huge, you can do it. Otherwise, you won't notice any difference. Right, let's go over there, see if we can find some rocks. I'm struggling with here is one of the mistakes that I talked about in the 7 mistakes video I did recently, which is this drop off. So, you know, there's a big drop off here, and it's difficult to get an angle where I want to shoot to sort of lead your eye down into the scene. If I want to get some foreground, it's easy enough to shoot the mountains and get the reflections of the clouds, which are looking really nice, but I can't get the foreground in. There was a shot way over there that I could maybe go back to, but here it doesn't quite work. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move further back, you know, further away, and then see if I can get some foreground in.
Anything you want, anything you want, 'cause every day is something new,
still hot. So it just goes to show that you shouldn't give up. I was just about to start heading down because I just didn't feel like I'd got any foreground that I was liking. I thought I'd just have another look, and then I just came across these grasses in the rock here, and everything just lines up, and it just creates this really nice sort of depth to it, and then your eye goes through the scene. So I'm doing one that's landscape and one that's portrait, and the reason I've got it really high is it just doesn't work. If I go lower, I miss some of the green grass over there, so I've just got to be super careful about it. But this grass is really nice, I'll just show you.
Spinning round, round, round. Oh, I want you now, now, now. My world is spinning round, round, round. And I want you now.
Morning again. This is pretty good. So I'm down at the side of Ullswater this morning, and got to admit, it was hard getting up after last night's hike, but it was well worth it. Anyway, I'm going to take this scene. It's a really simple scene. It's just, you know, some layers of mountains in the background, and I can hand hold it, but I'll also take one on the tripod as well, just to be sure, but I can hand hold it. It's going to be about a 30th of a second. I've got it at f5.6 because I don't need any foreground focus, so I've got it as wide open as I can. And on this, it's f5.6. One thing I really like about this camera is that it's got SD cards. I've got a lot of these. I've not got many XQD cards because they're really expensive, and I don't really need XQD cards because I don't, certainly not for my Z7 because I don't shoot any video with it, and I'm not shooting fast either, so for a landscape photographer it's fine like that. And it's got dual cards as well if you're into that. I don't bother, probably stupidly. I trust my cards. Okay. Right, so I'm just going to hand hold this and shoot it. I'm going to get the wide sort of scene in that you can see as well. And sometimes you've just got to keep things simple. I don't want to overcomplicate this. There's a pier over there and some other things, but I just want to keep it super simple. Just the reflection, just these nice blue tones, and it looks fabulous. I think I've said fabulous before, have I? Does it sound right? Yeah. So I've just come a little bit further down the lake now, and the sun, as you can see, is out. In fact, I'll just go into the shade a little bit. A swan has just gone across the water here. I just wanted to get the photo, so I didn't actually talk on camera, but it was spectacular. So I had the 7-200 lens on my Z5 and just tried to frame it so it just works really nicely with this super simple background with the mist. It looks so amazing. Just let me show you this scene.